Welcome everyone. This is a video that's going to teach your players how to play like Manchester City, and we're going to really concentrate on the offensive side in the final third, and that's really, I think, what the Manchester City teams are known for, that attacking final third possession, playing in tight spaces, and then finding that final ball that'll get them through the lines and behind the lines eventually into a cross. So what you'll see here is a typical Manchester City lineup, and we're using kind of the older the 4-3-3 formation that Pep has been known to play kind of since his Barcelona days, and this is what that looks like. So we have 4 defenders, we have 3 midfielders with a defensive mid and 2 attacking mids, and then we have 3 forwards here. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Now, it's super important that the right and left forward are playing in the half space, and the half space is, for me, from the 18-yard box to the 16-yard box. So right in this channel over here is really where we want them to play. Yeah, so let's get right to it. I do want to say that because I work with younger kids, I'm going to take those players away, the forward. So I like to play a 4-3-1, but I'm going to show you how that's going to be applicable as well to the 11v11 game, and if you even want to take it down to the 7v7. So there are so many different parts that you can do with this. So let's take the defenders away because we don't need those because we're really focusing on the attack. Some can argue that if the ball goes wide, then you can pass back. That's fine. We're just going to use, and you'll see the defensive player as that support system. So if you watch any of my other videos before about rondos, it's going to be a really important concept of supporting the ball. And that's going to be that the 2 closest players to the ball, 1 and 2, are going to be in the support position, and I want them right at the cones. And you're probably thinking, why? And that's going to become clear soon. And for example, if that ball comes played over here, then these 2 players will adjust closest to the ball. All right, so that's an important part that you need to know right off the bat. We're going to start off simply in a 4v1 in every single box. So you'll see here there's 1 red player for that box, 1 red player for the middle box, 1 red player for the left box. And right now there is 2 players, 2 players. And the last 2 players that are going to be the movable ones. And this player, when the ball comes over to the far square, are going to maneuver over. So if you remember here, we talked about in the 11v11 game, that already exists. So because I don't have 3 forwards, I'm going to take these away, and it's just going to force my center to do that work. And then we can choose to support as well with our 6, or we can just move back for an easier switch of the ball to the other side, if I can grab that ball. All right. So essentially we play a 4v1, and what we really want to try and get is the players to understand what to do when we have the ball right up with the forward. So we're going to move the ball around, and the defenders are going to come in. First, I want to concentrate on that first square and what happens when that ball comes up. So let's do this in steps. So the first step, the ball comes in. The 2 closest players will adjust. And then that ball, as soon as it's played, the 2 closest players are 1, 2, and then we can play a through ball in through there for the shot. Okay? So that's that basic level of what we can do. And we want every single time we want it to end with a shot. Okay, that's really important because we want it to be like the game. Now, let's talk about what the fullbacks do. Okay, so this is my 4-3-1. So these are my fullbacks. And what I tell my fullbacks is I want them in line with the ball when we have it. I want them behind the ball when we don't have it. So if we were to lose the ball, they're going to come in, right? and they're going to take their position as the defenders, and now we have that line of 4 players. Okay? But when we do have that ball, they're going to be adjusting and going down the line. And sorry that it cuts off a little bit. But so let's see what that looks like now. So if that ball is being played up, our fullbacks are now in line with the ball. We want our player that's across the ball to always have a passing lane. So right now they have a passing line, so they're in a great position. We talk about now the 2 closest players supporting the ball. And then as that ball is being passed here, we're going to have 1 option because that's the 2 closest players, 2 option as a support pass. And then look at this. Now because the fullbacks are in line with the ball, we can now create that Manchester City type ball, which is either a pass back and through, a pass through, a pass through, or a pass through here. And if you get this ball right there, then you'll get that cross, which we know so much of from that Manchester City game. So let's reset. And now let's talk about how to make this harder. And there's really one way to always make anything harder, and that's to add defenders. So now what I can do is I can add a defender here and a defender there. And now if you look at it, this could be a 4-3, right? Right, a 4, and then our 3 would be here, but we don't need these midfielders yet. And now you can start to talk and really coach the defenders about where they should be. So for example, if the 6 tries to make that pass wide, right, then this player will press, this player will come in to help, and that player will stick on the forward, right? And then if we reset, then we can talk about, okay, what happens now with our defender? Well, they got to communicate and talk about whose priority it is to stay on that defender, right? So maybe it's this who would be one of my center defenders, right? Center D, okay. And then if that ball goes over to the other side, we can start to communicate, right, and talk about a shift in that position, just like that, right? And then as this ball or this player starts to move, then we have another communication. So it's really about communication with these guys. And then there, the ball goes down. Okay, and with that press, now can we get that ball back and try and find a shooting lane, or maybe even a give and go down the line, because again, fullbacks will be here. And now it starts to become harder, and it starts to really look like the game. And we're looking for that creativity of the player's movement off the ball. And in my opinion, going back to rondos in general, I think that's where a lot of coaches get it wrong with rondos. Rondos are not about learning how to pass. If you started at a young age, the players will figure it out. Rondos are about moving off the ball and figuring out where I can be open. How can I get myself open in situations? Yes, there are so many benefits, including passing, first touch, right? Speed of play. Those are all benefits. But most of the time when I coach rondos, I'm looking for those players to move off the ball. Thierry Henry said, and I love this so much, you must do something before you get the ball. You can't just stand there to get it. You have to do something. And if you start this at an age of 7, 6, 9, 10, and get these players ready that as soon as the ball is over here, they must move to support it. Okay, if the ball is over here, they must move to support it. By the time they are 13, 14, 15, you can start to play with it. And then it's not about getting the players in supporting positions necessarily. It's just about finding those little pockets. But they're so used to moving off that ball that it does not matter that they don't fully support. But at the beginning, can we get them to do that support? Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you liked the content. I'm Segev Rabinovic. You can find me at Segev Rabinovic on YouTube, SEGEV RABINOVIZ. Also at Gladiator Soccer Academy. I'm the owner of Gladiator Soccer Academy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.